everybody. My name is Billy Graff. We've got my buddy here, Justin Loop.
Where the heck are we in society right now?
Yeah, that's going to be the intro. There you go. Today, where are we in society?
It's incredible, really. I mean, you have to think about what all is going on and how do we even get here?
I don't know.
This is incredible.
Have you been keeping up with any of the things that are going on at the house?
My house?
No, not sure. We're really wanting to talk about the hot topics here in America and in Texas, and even some local issues. How does it affect you? How does it affect your family? How do we just release some of that stress that we have? I know, but we were talking the other day, Justin, man, it's just like, I'm freaking out because of the stress that comes with what's going on in our country.
Where's an outlet, right? Where's an outlet to go that you can talk about this stuff? Because, what's going on is you try to bring this up. The news organizations, the political arena, all that stuff, they all just try to squash it. You got big tech squashing this information. Where do you go to discuss this?
Right.
So
we're all about life, liberty, and happiness on this show.
And truth.
And truth.
And the American way.
Absolutely. So if you guys have any ideas or issues out there that you'd love for us to just banter back and forth on and look for some truth about, we're going to give you some information at the end of the show. You'll have to watch the whole show, though, to get that information. And so right now, let's go on into the show.
Let's talk about some historical items that have gone on over the country, and then let's bring it home to Texas. And maybe even if you can come up with some stuff here in town, that'd be great, too. But, from a country's perspective, let's go over some history. There was a gentleman by the name of Sandman, Nicholas Sandman. You recall that name?
Absolutely.
So he was the gentleman who, he's in a high school, and he's in Washington. So Nicholas Sandman was part of the Covington Catholic student organization or school, and they went to Washington, D.C. There was a gentleman who got up in his space. So for me, I've got green space.
Oh, yeah.
Or, I'm sorry, I've got red space, I've got yellow space, and I've got red space.
There you go. Yep,
green space. I'm getting confused. Red space, yellow space. Green. No, this is not green. This is not green. You can't get in this space. This is red. This is yellow. That's green.
Okay.
So, anyway, so the whole idea here is this gentleman gets up in this guy's face, in Sandman's face, in his red zone, right? In his face, he's sitting there. I'm not sure. He's banging a drum. He's singing something. And no disrespect to that gentleman, but the fact of the matter is, if I get up in your face and I start singing stuff, I think that's a little mean, disrespectful, and maybe a little bit intimidating for Sandman. He's a high school kid, and you have an older gentleman doing this to him. So what does Sandman do? He's got no idea. Who knows what you would do if somebody's getting in your face and
well, I can tell you what most people do. This day and age, they get back in the face.
They get back in the face.
That's what happens a lot of times.
So what you're telling me is Mr. Sandman did the right thing and was respectful and kind of held back.
I think he did the right thing.
He did the right thing.
Yes, sir. He was very virtuous.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because guess what? Folks like CNN, NBC, there's several others, Washington Post, New York Times, all those people made Sandman out to be the bad guy. Even though Sandman didn't really do anything. He just stood there, smiled at the guy. Some people were like, oh, he's got a smirk on his face. He's smiling. What else can somebody do? You want him to pout? You want him to sit there and look mad? Doesn't make any sense.
You have uncovered a cultural truth of what's happening, and right now, good is bad and bad is good.
Right. We're upside down.
We're upside down, and there's this huge cultural chasm going on in culture today. Cancel culture, which basically means if you don't like what I have to say, I'm canceling you out. And currently, the more traditional lines of thinking they're trying to cancel that out.
Yeah.
Love your neighbor, be kind, be respectful.
Yeah.
Those types of things. Oh, let's talk about truth.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Your truth, my truth, whose truth is truth? That's where we are right now in the cancel culture. Whoever has the loudest voice in their opinion, their truth is the only truth. And that's a whole different conversation in and of itself.
Right.
And so I think this is a perfect example. This particular story that you've got for us is talking about how someone else's truth gets in the way of reality, and the news media takes over. They just take over, build their own little narrative, and they try to denigrate the person who's actually doing what I would consider the right thing by standing legally, participating in his First Amendment right to share their opinion non-aggressively, and then someone else comes up and becomes the aggressor. But in our cancel culture, the aggression is overseen by the aggressor, but he who's being aggressed becomes the enemy.
So in other words, we have a situation where it was a white male who was practically an adult who was shamed by our news organizations, and he did the right thing and he was shamed.
Yes, that's exactly right.
That's exactly what you're saying.
That's exactly
right.
So we're all about life and liberty here.
That's right.
What does that say about our some of our situations just as participants in life here in America? What does that say about America? Or at least what some people want to define America as being.
Well, and it's a good point. Lately, it seems like there is no defined rules. Normally you'd have a rule of thumb for something, right?
Right.
All those rules are thrown out. Laws are thrown out. Think about this. Let's move over a little bit. So let's think about what happened in St. Louis. You got McCloskeys. We know about McCloskeys, right?
Absolutely.
So I'm going to tell you something. So you have a family in their house enjoying dinner. Just picture that for a moment. All they're doing, they're having dinner. And then next thing you know, they hear a lot of commotion, a lot of commotion. They go out, they're looking out their windows, they look out their backyard, they're seeing, oh my God, we got a lot of people coming in, and they sound very mad and very angry. What did we do? And oh, by the way, they're starting to encroach on the things that we own. They're encroaching on our house.
They're on the driveway, they're
on the driveway, they're in the front yard, they're on the grass, and they're coming in. What do we do? Right? So these people, there's so many of them, they could come through and practically kill us, right? That's what McCloskeys are thinking. Oh my God, these people are here. No telling what they're going to do. They could kill us, they could go in, they could destroy our house. All these things that I worked so hard for. I worked so hard. I went to school. I did everything right. I play by the rules. These people come in. They're trespassing in a gated area, and they're very, very violent.
Right.
And what does McCloskey do? What does a father do? What does a mother do? They're going to protect their kids
and their property. And this is America.
Yeah.
We have the right to protect our property according to the Constitution of the United States.
Exactly. Second Amendment.
Absolutely.
It's not meant for hunting. It's there to protect yourself. And so that's what people need to understand. You get a mob of people coming your way. How in the heck are you going to protect yourself?
Right.
Only one way. There's only one way, really. Now, here's the thing about St. Louis. You have a prosecutor who doesn't prosecute the bad people. She goes after the McCloskeys, the people that are trying to protect themselves. Why? Because they brandished a gun. Okay, it's 2 on 200. Okay?
Right.
So 2 on 200. What do you think? I'm going to brandish a weapon, of course, and I'm going to say, look, I'm going to give you a warning. Don't step on my property. You do, then you're going to meet your maker.
Right.
Because the fact of the matter is, as soon as they start encroaching on your property, they're just going to inch and inch and inch and inch until they actually have full control over your situation.
And from what I understand, Justin, they basically had been yelling out, we're going to come get you. We're going to do things.
Right.
And so
they were the aggressor by a magnitude of 100, so minimal.
Yeah, again, another perfect example of what's happening in our culture today. All the things that at one time in our country, that would have been the expected reaction.
Yeah.
To protect your family.
Yeah. And the cops would have came out and actually helped.
Yeah. And so we have definitely moved into some difficult times in our country.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be honest, I still think there's hope.
Yeah.
Part of what we're here talking about is, we're talking about real life circumstances, real life issues with real life people. But at the same time, part of the message that we want to send out is that there is hope still in this great country, and we just need to knuckle down,
Right.
focus on the Constitution, focus on our families, continue to embrace the things of God, who wants to protect us if we would allow Him to be a part of our life.
Right.
And hey, personal liberty is what makes where we live wonderful.
Exactly.
And so
I share these stories with you, and there's another one I would share with you coming closer to home. I mean, I'm just going to keep bringing this stuff home and home and home.
Sure.
So thing is, you need to understand these stories, and the thing is, you need to understand what's going on with them. You need to not believe what CNN, NBC, CBS,
Right.
and these left-wing outlets, Washington Post, the New York Times, they have a narrative that they're trying to spin. They're trying to tell you what you think. They're trying to tell you what you think about stuff. And thing is, a very important thing that we have to do as Americans, because we are free thinking. We are free thinking, right?
we're supposed to be.
We need to be able to take a story with a grain of salt. We've got to take a story with a grain of salt. And it doesn't matter what it is. If it's written down on paper or on your computer, it doesn't mean it's fact.
Right.
People, what happens is these news organizations will take certain facts. They have all the facts here. They'll say, oh, that doesn't fit my narrative. That doesn't fit my narrative. That doesn't fit my narrative. Put this together, and then they'll insert that in their story, and then they'll write something around it to describe. They'll say, oh, well, this fact happened, and then they'll write a narrative, an opinion, in my view, about how the events transpired.
Right.
It's their opinion.
But we're living in dangerous times when the media is no longer an actual news outlet. The media is now a propaganda machine.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
what's happened, and we've seen it throughout the last few cycles of our elections. And I'm ready for people to take hold of the Constitution, to take hold of those values that we hold dear, to believe and to understand that in all things America, that we have the rights given to us inalienably.
Right.
To our Constitution that needs to be the document that brings us together as a people.
Yeah.
But what's happening is many of the elected officials that we, the people, have put in charge, they are doing things, and this will be a whole nother show.
Yeah.
But they are doing things, making laws, getting on the social media, and they're saying things, and they're activating the negative side of humanity.
Yes.
For the sake of getting what they want. But what we want to do is we want to activate the positive side of humanity to create a betterment of society.
Right.
And so we're going to talk about these tough issues. We're going to talk about and give our opinion, why and what and how's it affecting every day, because everything that goes on in the world affects everybody.
Exactly.
And so how do we find a way to maintain a structure of family? We're destroying the family.
Yeah, exactly.
The whole family is being destroyed by our country.
Yeah.
And we want to build the family. We want to bring families back together.
That'll be another episode for sure. We got to talk about the
Absolutely.
family. It's very
Absolutely.
important.
And so, but the freedoms of the Second Amendment, the First Amendment, of course, in state legislature right now, there's two bills going on for constitutional carry, which is great. I think 26 or 27 states have constitutional carry.
Yeah.
Why we have to have another law
I don't know.
that just says, hey, I confirm the Constitution. That's a picture of where we are in our culture.
We have to validate.
We have to validate
we have a
the
Second Amendment,
Constitution.
and oh, by the way, we back up the Second Amendment.
We agree with the Constitution.
And despite the fact that we have a president that sits there and says that amendments aren't, they're not cemented. I'm like, they actually are. They're not given by man. They're actually given by God.
Did you hear our president say the other day in his speech that we the people means we the government?
You're hitting the nail right on the head.
We the government is not we the people.
Yeah.
We the people, guys, is you and me.
Right.
We the people.
I've got the Constitution up right now. We the people is in big, bold letters. We the people of the United States. That's who we are. We are the people of the United States. If you're a citizen
right.
of the United States, you have rights. Doesn't matter what color skin you are, what creed you came from, what religion you are. You have rights. And you know what? I'm the guy who's going to back you up.
Absolutely.
He's the guy that's going to back you up. We need to back each other up. And the thing is, these people that want to destroy the Constitution, they want to take your freedoms away so that they can tell you how to live your life, what you can have, what can you put on your table, and how many children you can have. You don't believe me? We have a country you can reference.
You know, I'm a firm believer in the First Amendment. I'm a firm believer that we should take the advantage, as we the people, to communicate our disappointments and our almost disgust with some of the elected officials and some of the things they're doing right now. But there's a big difference between sharing through group messaging versus rioting.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a huge
protesting
difference
and rioting.
Yeah, the two are not the same. Unfortunately, there is a segment of our population that has now connected rioting to protesting.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And the two are definitely different.
Right. You have a right to peacefully protest.
That's right.
That specifically states that in the Constitution. You do not have a right to harm other people. That's
right.
where you start infringing on other people's rights.
Absolutely.
So that's incredibly important.
And, you know, we no longer want to debate or discuss anything. We just want, I'm going to tell you what to do, and if you don't like it, you're wrong.
Yeah.
That's the culture today.
And so that's kind of a good point because...
oh, by the way, I'm right.
Yeah, I know, right? You're always right.
I'm always right, yeah.
So we have a situation. I have a friend in another state who's telling me that a great example of what he's talking about right here is the teachers union in another state. I'm not going to say which state, but I'll tell you, a teachers union in a different state. What happens is they dictate what teachers have to say, how they're going to teach, what they're going to teach. The thing is, teachers go to school. Teachers know what to do. I am all about teachers. I think teachers are fantastic. I think what's happening is you've got folks that are part of these teachers unions, and they put down some curricula, and not only are they just putting down the curricula, but they're also micromanaging the teacher. And the thing is, they're no longer teaching, they're instructing. They're instructing a training course. That's a huge thing. So we'll have to go. We'll circle back to that. That's kind of a precursor.
Back. Oh,
circle back.
I love that. Yeah.
Circle back to an education segment. But the point I want to bring to you on that is that the teachers associations, I wouldn't say the associations, the teachers unions are bullying teachers to teach in their perspective manner. I mean, they're force-feeding teachers how to teach, what to teach, and that is not what our education system was about. The bullying has to stop. If we have something, we need to be able to sit there and say, no, we're not letting the unions bully our teachers. Teachers need to be able to have the freedoms and the courage to step up to these associations. They stop. I'm teaching my kids. I know what to teach. I know what we're supposed to teach, and I know what the end goal is supposed to be. I know what the various goals are and objectives for these kids.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
the milestones, I mean...
Hold that thought. We're going to take a break.
Yeah.
All right. But I cut you off, Justin.
That's okay.
And so bring us back to where we were.
Bottom line is, and it's probably good that you broke up because I talk a lot. The fact of the matter is, the bullying's got to stop. You know, when I was growing up and, you know, through the 90s, the whole idea was, you know, no more bullying. Bullying's not okay. Well, guess what? We have people, particularly on the left side, that if you don't do what they're asking you to do, they're going to bully you into stuff. How is that okay anymore? We have pushed out bullying, and now it's coming back. They say, don't bully, yet they start bullying. So we got to stop that. We got to stop that immediately. No bullying on, you know, you need to have a discourse of sort or some path to communicate your grievance.
Oh, I think so. No doubt. Well, I think it's all back to personal responsibility.
Exactly.
Personal we get so caught up in personal preferences in our country today.
Yeah, exactly.
And my message is universal. My message is really simple. God loves all of us.
Yeah.
He created us, and He wants us to help one another. Honestly, we're here to help one another do well in life.
Yeah.
We're here to encourage. I mean, I'm sitting here doing this with you because I want to encourage you, but I also want to encourage our listeners not to get depressed, not to allow all the negative narratives like you're talking about to get us down, but to encourage us to stand for what we believe in. And that's the beauty about living here.
Yeah.
The Constitution of this great country says, hey, if you have an opinion, then you have the right to share that opinion. But at some point, and here's where we as a culture have kind of forgotten, your opinion has to stop when it infringes on my freedoms.
Right, exactly.
To give my opinion. And so I love discourse. I love discussions, and that's really what this show is going to become.
Yeah.
We are not a news channel. We are not a news show per se. We will talk about news items, but we also want to talk about just getting along, living life in the midst of these traumatic turmoils, and encourage people on, here's some things you can do to participate and maybe to fight off some of these uglies that are happening in your neighborhoods. What are some things you can do that would be more encouraging than discouraging to the people you're around?
Right.
Because if I'm not encouraging you, then I'm discouraging you, and that only leads to negativity.
Well, that's a great point. I'm glad you brought that up. The stories that I bring up, we need to talk about these stories because it's exactly what you're saying. I bring these up because we need to identify, hey, there's a problem, and we need to be problem solvers. So the problem is this, right? For example, I'll give you a good example here. Bringing it home, going to Austin. So there was a gentleman.
I'm thinking about it. It hurt me.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
The gentleman was out protesting, had a gun on him.
Okay.
And he's trying to direct traffic with his gun. He's forcing people to change direction, turning. He's doing this at gunpoint, effectively.
Oh my goodness.
Well, the guy gets shot by an somebody behind the wheel.
Drive-by.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't really a drive-by. The guy, if you got a gun brandished at somebody, first off, where in the world's the cops? Why in the world was this guy out on the streets with a gun? He shouldn't have been out on a gun. I mean, do we have open carry? I guess we do. But still, when you're pointing at people, McCloskey, hello, and this guy was doing it with malice.
Yeah.
Trying to get people to do his will with a gun. That is wrong.
Right.
So anyways, of course, in Texas, a lot of us carry guns. And you got a gun kind of pointed at somebody, chances are the other person's going to have a gun and use it so that they can protect them and their family. And that's exactly what happened in Austin. The guy was pointing a rifle to a gentleman saying, get out of here. Guy was freaked out. He shot him. But the good news is the guy who shot the aggressor, he actually went to the cops and said, look, I just shot somebody. He did this. And of course, he's good.
Right.
But the point is, we've gotten to a point where at some point, I don't know, it goes back to what you're saying with the protests. Somehow we've gotten to where riots are protests. Riots are not protests. So that's the problem. Right? I just identified the problem. What's the solution?
What is the solution?
That's what we need to identify.
That's what we need to discuss.
Exactly.
We need to find, at the core, where are we as a people?
Exactly.
What has happened?
And then
I think that's really the question.
How do we navigate through life civilly to reach the best point? That's what the United States is about, is trying to reach the best point for society. And if you don't think you're getting to the best point, then we need to band together, have a discussion, determine that path. And in order to do that, we have to think logically. We have to think thoroughly. We have to there's a little bit of work involved. You're going to have to do some research. And actually,
we need to get back to truth.
Yeah. And then find out what the truth is. That's exactly right. You do this research to actually find out what the real truth is, not what somebody told you. Now, Billy, trust me. but it's trust but verify. I'll shoot him a message. He'll say, "Oh, Justin, I think that's a good story," and he'll verify that. And you know what? Sometimes I'm wrong. Hey, guess what? I'm human. That happens.
Right. And you have to be careful where you read your news.
Exactly.
Because not, again, as we spoke earlier in the show, not all news outlets are interested in producing news.
Yeah,
sharing news. They're more interested in producing narratives
that people click on.
Exactly.
That generate revenue.
Right. It's not about sharing information. It's about creating information.
Exactly.
And there's a huge difference.
I'm telling you, NBC does that all the time. I think they watch their own shows and they create news from their fiction shows. I really do.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I think what's going to make this show really great is just more people out there sharing their issues and bringing them up before us so we can talk about them, because we're not going to worry. I'm not worried about talking about anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we can just talk about anything freely and figure out, gosh, how do we just get back to normal?
Exactly. Yeah, so that's kind of what we need to do.
Obviously, I've got gray hair, so I've been around a little bit longer.
You don't look a day over 21.
Well, thank you. I told somebody the other day, I look good for 75, don't I?
You seem to have lost some of your white hair right here.
What can I say? What can I say? It's wisdom.
My stuff away.
It's
there you
all
go.
wisdom.
Got the wisdom in my chin.
There
That's
you go.
Interesting.
There you go. But we have a great opportunity, especially with what's happening in our country right now. This is a great opportunity for us to stand strong for the right things, to mention and talk about consistently, not just priorities for any particular political party, but the priorities that we as a country have. I call them the American value system.
Yeah.
Okay? And, the American value system is about helping people live life to its fullest. And that doesn't mean you have to be rich.
Yeah.
It just means you have to be a participant in life.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Work hard. We have jobs. You take care of your family is taken care of. And America is the greatest country in the world, and I know that because, one, we have the best Constitution in the world, and secondly, if everybody keeps wanting to come over here, there's a reason.
Exactly.
But that's a whole other show. We're not going to talk about that today.
Yeah. And we have a whole list of show items that we're going to bring up, and one of them is definitely education. But honestly, Billy's exactly right. The United States is the best country to be in. Texas is the best state to be in.
And Montgomery County is the best place to live today. So, you don't see Justin and I wearing masks today, do you?
Yeah, I'm not too worried. What we need though is we need people to get involved. We need people to be an active part of the community. If you've got issues, if you see some weird stuff going on, bring it up. We'll do our best to expose it. We'll talk about it.
Absolutely.
We're very interested in getting on the right track, and the right track is through truth. And we can't be scared of telling the truth. Truth is ugly sometimes, but you know what? If you face the truth, you don't have to cover up the lies, and covering up the lies takes so much effort.
Oh, it really does. It really does. Well, it looks like we're about out of time, Justin.
Yep.
But man, we hit 6 or 7 major issues today.
Yes.
And that's really good. And I really want to encourage everyone out there that's watching this show. First of all, thank you for watching the show. Second, we want to give you an outlet. We know that there's a lot of conversations going on around dinner tables and around TVs and around newsrooms, and we want to give you an outlet to share your concerns, to share your frustrations with issues that are going on that are affecting you and your family. At the end of this broadcast, every time you see us, we're going to always give you a place where you can go and you can communicate those issues that are frustrating you, and we will put them on our topic list. Justin and I want to discuss the hard topics, the things that are really frustrating you, so that you can just be a part of this conversation. It's a national conversation, and we want you to be part of that. And the way you're part of it is you send your topics to us and your major issues, and we'll research them, and we'll banter.
Yep.
In fact, we're looking for 2 or 3 other guys or ladies to participate with us each week, and we want to just see what's going on out there in the world, and how can we, as Americans, learn how to live together better, encourage one another together. I don't care what gender you are, I don't care what what ethnic group you're part of. You're one of God's people, and that's good enough for me. You're an American, that's good enough for me. Let's figure out how to live together, prosper together, and encourage one another to be the very best person that you can. And that's my thought for the day. What about you, Justin?
You got to activate now. You got to start now. If you don't know where to go, this is the first place you can go to.